Hey everyone, and welcome to my November TBR. November is going to be the busiest month of the year for me by far. I've got so many things going on, and so I decided to not do my usual TBR games just because it just felt like too much to be trying to fit in at that kind of thing. So instead I've picked my own TBR. I will say that the TBR I have chosen is inspired by the Clear Your Readathon and those prompts because I always take part in that every single year. And yeah, I think I'm just going to get right into exactly what I'm going to be reading. There is a lot of it, so let's just get into it. First thing I'm going to be reading is The World Remake by N.K. Jemisin. This is the sequel to The City We Became, which is a multiversal type story all about a sentient New York and this kind of thing. I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm really excited to read the sequel, and it just arrived at my door, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to squeeze it in this month. It is currently not covering any prompt, but I'm sure if I can squeeze it into any of the prompts I will find a way to do it. I've also got The Knife of Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This is all about Todd, who lives in a town where absolutely everybody can hear everybody's thoughts, this kind of thing, and then he stumbles across a spot of complete silence. I've heard amazing things about this, so I really want to give it a go, and it is also actually covering two prompts. The first one is Aquarius, which is to read a fantasy book or a book with fantasy-like aspects, and this is definitely a fantasy. And then it is also counting for Earth Element, which is a heavyweight book because it is quite chunky, so I'm counting it as like a heavy book because it's physically heavy. Then for Virgo, it was to read a high stress, high stakes book, and I've gone for Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This is the final one in the Hunger Games trilogy. I've recently read the last two books in the series, so I really wanted to round it out, so I am going to be reading this one as well. I usually fly through these books, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do the same for this one. Then I also have Mindwalker by Kate Dillon. This one is covering the prompt of Taurus, read a book with an aesthetically pleasing cover, because I think this is quite aesthetically pleasing. And this one is all about a 18-year-old called Syl who is determined to die a legend, but with only 12 months left before the supercomputer grafted into her brain kills her, her time is running out. I have heard amazing things about this one, specifically from Abby of Pelennor, and she has actually raved about this one and said that I'll really enjoy it. The sequel has just come out, so I really want to read this one now so I know if I want to get the sequel or not, and I'm just generally really excited to read it. Then I also have Like a Curse by McNichol. This is the sequel to Like a Charm, which is following Ramya, who is a dyspraxic girl in Edinburgh who can see sort of the magical creatures and the magic behind Edinburgh itself. I really enjoyed the first one, not as much as Elle McNichol's other books, I will say, but I am still really intrigued by this one, so I'm really excited to give it a go and see what I think, and finally also finish out another duology. And then we get into the comic section before I go into my more sort of mood read section. So all of these comics are to do with either Captain Marvel, Photon, or Miss Marvel. So anyway, the ones I've got here are all Captain Marvel because they're the ones I've collected physically. So that is Rise of the Alpha Flight, Civil War 2, then also Alice Philanthropris. I apologise right now if I pronounced that wrong. I've got no idea how to pronounce that. Stay Fly, and then also Higher, Further, Faster, More. And then this is also going to include as well all of the sequels that I currently do not own but are available on Marvel Unlimited. So I'm going to be speeding through all of these. Really excited to read all of these. If you do not know who Captain Marvel is, she is a half Kree, half human superhero, and I absolutely love her. She is absolutely incredible. She is one of my favourite superheroes, so very excited to read all of these. There is also Miss Marvel Team Up, and this is just following Miss Marvel as she teams up with various different Marvel heroes, including obviously Captain Marvel and then Spider-Man and quite a few others. And I'm just generally really excited to read this because I really love Miss Marvel as a character, so I'm really excited to see exactly what it means for her to be teaming up with various characters and then watching her just fangirl her way round. There is also Monica Rambeau's Photon. This one is by Eve Ewing, and this one is basically Monica Rambeau's first ever solo comic, which is a long time coming, seeing as her character is like 60 years old at this point. So really excited to read this one as well. I love Eve Ewing's work, so I cannot wait to see what I think about her working on Photon, things like this, see what she does with the character. There will probably be other comics as well, but that's enough to be getting on with on the list for now, but I will probably be reading several others as well. I just don't know what yet. And then we get into the Doctor Who section, because this month is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, which is ridiculously exciting to say the least. I'm just So excited for that. There are no words to describe how excited I am. David Tennant's Doctor was my childhood. Russell T Davies' Doctor Who was absolutely my childhood. Donna was one of my favourite companions, and to have them all back is just so special and so exciting for me. I am celebrating in every single way I can, which means reading a lot of Doctor Who. So what I'm going to do is show you all of the titles of all of the books that I own and have owned since I was a child, and then I will be sort of mood reading my way around them, because obviously the 60th is taking place over 3 weeks, so I will be reading some of these in November and a lot of them in December. So let's just get through the titles, because there are a lot of them. Stack number 1 included Prisoner of the Daleks, then also Ghosts of India, then also The Story of Martha. This one specifically I know is going to be about Martha's time in the year that never was, when the Master took over with the Toclophane. There is also Wet World, Shining Darkness, The Eyeless, Sting of the Zygons, which I have definitely read. I read this over and over again as a child. I've still actually got a bookmark in it, but I want to reread it, especially seeing as the 50th anniversary featured Zygons. Then there is also The Price of Paradise, which again, you see I have added quite a few bookmarks into. I read this one obsessively as a kid as well. Then there is also Martha in the Mirror, The Doctor Trap, which I distinctly remember. There are no bookmarks in this one, but I read this again over and over as a kid. Snow Globe 7. And then The Last Dodo, which is another one I also read a lot as a kid. Then there is also this collection as well, which features the stories of the 9th and also the 10th Doctor as well. So there is The Clockwork Man, The Monsters Inside, Winner Takes All, The Deviant Strain, Only Human, The Stealers of Dreams, The Fear of the Drowned, The Nightmare of Black Island, The Stone Rose, and then The Resurrection Casket. So I'm going to try and read all of these as well if I can. They should be quite quick reads. I have never actually read any of these, or I may have read one of them when I was a kid, but these have mostly stayed within this box, so really excited to finally read all of these. And then finally, there are 3 comics, which is the 10th Doctor Archives 1, 2 and 3, and then also there is the 10th Doctor Tales, which is my audiobook for the month as well. And that's why I'm going to leave this video, because I think that's enough to be getting on with now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me a book I should start with. I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a space related emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, which is going to be filled with all things Kree, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Photon, everything else. All will be linked down below, so you can check that out if you're interested in that, as well as the link as well down below to my Etsy store that sells bookish merch if you're interested in that as well. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. Until next time everyone, bye!